Hi everyone, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here with another PB&J card class, and today is video number 4 in my series of 5 videos of my top 5 versatile card making products from recent Penny Black releases. And today's video is all about our Edger Sentiment dies. Now we have made lots and lots of Edger Sentiment dies, and I find myself reaching for them again and again. So before we start, again, what makes a product versatile to me is that it makes my stash more usable, so it gives already owned stamps and dies a home, or it makes new items more likely to be used by giving them a home, can be used for multiple seasons or occasion, can go from cute to elegant. It's easy to use and it has a classic look and style, so it's not overly trendy. So our newest edgers are the Note Edger and the Note Builder stamp set that can work with that. Also the Welcome Edger and the Welcome Builder. So the cards that I will be making today will feature these new edgers, but if you go to our online store, which I'll link below, and just search Edger, you will get 2 pages of all different edgers. So these techniques will work with any of our edger dies. So I'm going to use our edgers with some brushstroke stamping. So I am using this new brushstroke stamp. This one is called, let me look at my notes here. It is so pretty. It is called Idyllic. And I'm going to be stamping this onto Strathmore smooth paper. So this makes all the difference when you're using these brushstroke silhouette style stamps. I am inking it with Distress ink. I'll have all of the colors listed for you down below, but I started with shaded lilac, and then I am putting on a little bit of blueprint sketch. Now the blueprint sketch I am turning to the side, just using the corner and focusing mainly towards the inside of the flowers. If I get any of this ink on a leaf, I'll just wipe it off with my finger. I lightly spritz that with water and I'm stamping it down. Now, right handy, I have a paintbrush and just a little bit of water. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going in and blending out any of those stamped areas just to give it a smoother, more watercolor look. And it is so beautiful when you do this. And this stamp is very easy to ink up and to just easily go in and blend what you have stamped. Now, if you don't want to have to go back in with a paintbrush, you can certainly just mist your stamp more. It'll give you a looser look with less detail, but you don't have to go back in with a paintbrush. I find that I like to have a little bit more control and not overly mist. I must be a bad mister. I don't know. But I find it's just easier to lightly mist once and just go back in with my paintbrush. As you can see, it's a really fast process and you keep a little bit more control when you do it that way. So it just depends what your personal style is for that. Now I'm going to do the leaves the same way. I'm going to clean that off just so I don't have any like little bits of ink that I restamp on the flowers. I like how they are. I don't want to change that. I'm going to ink this with Evergreen Bough and Forest Moss. The Forest Moss just mainly turned on the side, so I'm using the corner of that mini ink pad towards the bottom of the leaves. Lightly mist it and then stamp. And I've got that paintbrush handy. Now if I got any of that green on the flowers, I would just wipe it off with my finger before I stamped. So just something to check before you mist and stamp. Or you could use like a paper towel if you don't want to get it on your finger. So I'm just going to clean off that stamp. Notice I'm not moving it around in my stamp positioning tool. And I've picked up a Tombow dual brush pen. What this does, this marker, it's a water soluble marker. It allows me to get these little details. So I can get in here and just add that ink onto the areas with the sort of like the stem of the flower. You could also use your Tombow dual brush pens on the entire image, but I find for large areas the ink pad provides a little bit more even coverage. Now I've grabbed another marker, and again the exact colors will be listed for you in that YouTube description box, just to get the center of the flowers. I'll do that a couple of times just to darken up the color. And that is all it takes to create this beautiful look of watercoloring on your card. So I'm going to show you again another one. This is using the Sweetly Scented Brushstroke stamp, and I'm going to put all of these with our new edger dies. And so I'm just inking that up, putting in my yellows. Again, all the colors are listed for you down below. Can layer up more than one color, and if I get any on a place I don't want it, like the leaves, I'm not too worried about the leaves since these are yellow, but the leaves or the top of the flower, I just wipe it off with my fingertip. Lightly mist, and then stamp again onto that Strathmore smooth paper. That makes all the difference in being able to go back in and reblend it, and it can take the little bit of water too without pilling or buckling, getting too warped. So I'm just going back in with that paintbrush, just a little bit of water on the paintbrush, not too much. So you see there's a paper towel in the top right hand corner there, and I dip my paintbrush in. I also pat it on that paper towel before I bring it to my paper. Now what I love about these edger dies, why I see them as being really versatile, is they automatically finish your card for you. So you can pick, do I want to stamp above the edger, or do I want to have the edger sentiment be up at the top of the card and stamp below? And that's it. Your card design is finished, and you can go to your stash or go to your new stamps and make your card and get them onto a card without having to think too much about it, but still leaving plenty of room for creativity. Here I'm just putting on that darker color. If it's a really small section, I don't always mist it like this. I'll just go ahead and stamp it and blend it. I'm going to darken that up a little bit, so I'll grab my marker. Now these particular edgers with the word note and the word welcome, with the stamp set that comes with them, they are really versatile as well. So just a note has many different stamps that sentiments that can go with that to suit many different occasions. Same with welcome. So you've got like your welcome baby, but we also have given to you welcome spring, welcome summer, welcome winter, welcome autumn. Welcome to the family, welcome to the team. So you can take that die and use it for lots and lots of occasions. I'm finishing off my stamping here. I went ahead and did the leaves just like I did on the other stamp. Going back and blending that a little bit just with a little bit of water. And I just missed a couple there, so I'll get those now. And then I'm going to repeat that, just moving the image in the card over to the right to fill in that top part of the card. So once that's done and it's dry, I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending on the bottom of the card. I have Evergreen Bough, which I'm applying with an ink blending tool and a foam pad, starting at the bottom and working my way up. This also creates a little bit of interest in color and contrast when I add my edger on. So I'm just checking there, did I go up high enough? And then that will create some contrast down below for that edger. I'm going to put a little bit of Toffee Crunch right on top of that, just kind of tones it down and gives it more of a turquoise look. But I wanted to keep things very light and fresh and springy. Now this note edger die, you can see that is the, with the edger dies you get two dies. You're going to get a die with the words, and you're going to get a die with the edge, the top edge of that word, which you can then place that edge anywhere you would like on your card, if you want it down below or if you want it higher. And if you stay tuned at the end of the video, I'll show you some more cards showing that variation in height. So now I've grabbed our Fragile Beauty Cling Stamp, and I'm just doing this in a very light tone on tone look, just to fill in any gaps here and to finish this off. I love adding this stamp with our floral stamps, especially just tone on tone. It's just a really nice touch. I did that also on the other card, which you'll see at the end of the video. So just moving it along the bottom and then checking it with that edger die that it shows. Now I've cut my word from white cardstock, and I can then ink blend it using those same colors that I used on the flowers. So I am just using an ink blending tool and a foam pad and kind of rubbing and pouncing that on top of the word. And I'll do my lightest color, Fossilized Amber, and then I'll go in with some Spiced Marmalade. And I do have off camera there my stamping right handy so I can make sure I'm matching things up. You could also just cut this from colored cardstock. I love the look of this word note. I feel like it's just it has a very modern feel to it, which looks neat with whatever you pair it with. Now I like to give a little bit of dimension, so I've just cut this again from white cardstock, a heavyweight cardstock, and I'll layer two together. That's just an easy way if you want it to look popped up, but you don't want to use foam tape behind the small letters, you can do that. Once you do that once, kind of addictive. I find I do it all the time now. And you can see how that fits on top of that piece. Now here I've done that for the welcome as well. I've inked it up with the same colors I used on the flowers. I've stamped that secondary sentiment and I'm just gluing that on. And then I will use foam tape behind this piece to add it to the card just for some extra dimension. So you can see there's that foam tape. And I will add that to the bottom of the card. These are both standard 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch A2 size cards. There you can see that inking and that stamping on that card. So here's the finished thing. I've added my secondary sentiment on this one, just a little butterfly. So we've got just a note to say I miss you and welcome sweet baby, and I added a couple of little butterflies on here as well. And we'll have a couple still shots of these, and then I'll give you even more card ideas for our edgers. And like I said, you could take any of these ideas and use it with any of our edgers, whether you're using the note edger or the welcome edger. It's a design idea that you can keep returning to that's very, very versatile. So here are even more card ideas. And if you stay tuned at the very end, I'll show you an idea with our Stick and Shine product line as well. So on this first card, it features that welcome edger. Again, you can change the secondary sentiment, but here I've moved that edger up towards the top of the card, and I've just added an embossed panel at the very top for interest, and I could do my stamping down below. Just another way that you can use that. Here I've used the note die and note edger, and I have trimmed along the bottom and moved that up and added a touch of embossing just right along the bottom of the card. So you can play around with your placement. You can also use the word portion of the edger dies all by themselves if you don't want to do an edger design. So I've done that here on this card. Or you can use those builder stamp sets that coordinate with these edger dies and just use the stamp set all on its own as well. So here I've done that with the welcome to the neighborhood. Now, one other layout that I think is really fun to do with these edger dies is with our Stick and Shine. This is our Refinement Stick and Shine. If you haven't heard of our Stick and Shine, I'm going to put a link to a video down below that tells you more about it. But it's basically, you can add foil to your projects without any heat or expensive tools. So you get this Stick and Shine. It works like a rub-on. So I've just applied that to my smooth paper. I like to do it with a Bristol paper using our tool, our applicator tool. You can also just use your hands or a credit card to rub that on, and what it does is it transfers the sticky design onto your paper. And then you can take our foil and lay it shiny side up on top of the design. I'm just rubbing that gently with that applicator tool. Again, you can just use your hand or a credit card to apply that. Peel it off and it transfers that design, that foiled design, onto your paper. It's so pretty in real life. So what I did is I used that as part of my design with our edger. So I moved that note edger up higher on the card, and I've inked over the top of that foiled design, and I've used it with the note edger. So just another way that you can use our edgers with our Stick and Shine designs. Now, if you've seen a card in here in this video that you especially love, I have a blog post with every card listed and the products used on it. I'll link that for you down below. Again, all the supplies are listed for you down below, and the penny black products are linked. If you've used our edger dies, let us know. We've seen some really pretty cards out there online where you've been using our edger dies, and we are so honored. Leave us a comment below and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so that you are notified when the next video is available. Happy stamping!